Hi everyone. Today we're going to discuss the Commission on Cancer, or CoC, and their accreditation process. Since the Cancer Registry Management Principles and Practices textbook, or what I like to call the CRM textbook, is more than 5 years old, so there are some discrepancies between the textbook and the standards manual. When there are discrepancies, know that the CoC Cancer Program standards are the standards that are required and must be followed. The CRM textbook should be used for general processes, procedures, and definitions. There were major revisions to the CoC standards manual that was in process at the time of the CRM textbook publication, so that's why they don't correlate. They were just kind of both in different places in publishing their information. So that's why the textbook differs when they discuss the standards manual. Always go with what is stated in the standards manual for any assignments, quizzes, or work processes before using the textbook. The Commission on Cancer, a program of the American College of Surgeons, also known as the ACOS, is a group of professional organizations dedicated to improving survival and quality of life for cancer patients through standard setting, which promotes cancer prevention, research, education, and the monitoring of comprehensive quality care. The CRM Chapter 30 gives a wonderful historical overview of the CoC. However, you do not need to memorize this information. This type of information will not be included on the CTR exam. The CTR exam covers things that you need to know in order to be a cancer registrar and do your job. Obviously, you would not need this information, to know when the CoC was formed and when they started accrediting facilities, etc., to do your job. Okay, so this is just great information just to know. To review the most updated list of organizations that are members of the CoC, that can be found by clicking on the link in the CoC Standards Manual on page 4. You don't need to know this information. It's just there if you are interested in knowing that information. The CoC structure is outlined in the management textbook itself. The textbook does go into great details of the different committees of the CoC. You do not need to memorize this information either, but this information is good to know and know where you can find it if you need to reference it. It's just great to understand, how the CoC and their committees work. As you can see by the name of the CoC Cancer Program Standards Manual, the standards are focused on ensuring patient-centered care. The Commission on Cancer ensures patient-centered care by establishing standards to ensure high-quality, multidisciplinary, and comprehensive cancer care, conducting surveys at cancer programs to assess the compliance with those standards, collecting standardized high-quality data from CoC-accredited facilities, using data to measure cancer care quality and to monitor treatment patterns and outcomes, requiring cancer prevention and screenings at accredited programs, monitoring clinical surveillance activities, and developing effective educational programs to achieve its goals. There are approximately 1,500 CoC accredited programs in the United States and Puerto Rico. Participation in the accreditation program is voluntary. It is not required. All CoC accredited programs combined are credited with diagnosing and treating more than 70% of all newly diagnosed cancer patients. The CRM textbook has a map of the number of CoC accredited programs by state. Since, once again, the textbook is several years old and these numbers fluctuate continuously, the numbers in the textbook are obviously not correct. You will note the map has 0 accredited facilities in Wyoming. However, they do now have 1 CoC accredited facility. In a few weeks, we'll actually use their website to determine which programs throughout the United States are CoC accredited. Patients that obtain care at a CoC accredited cancer program receive quality cancer care, comprehensive care offering a range of state-of-the-art services and equipment, a multidisciplinary team approach to coordinate the best cancer treatment options available, access to cancer-related information and education, access to patient-centered services such as psychosocial distress screening and navigation through the healthcare system, options for genetic assessment and counseling and palliative care services, assessment of treatment planning based on evidence-based national treatment guidelines, the standard of care, information about clinical trials and new treatment options, follow-up care at the completion of treatment, which includes a survivorship care plan, and a cancer registry that collects data on cancer type, stage, treatment, and treatment results, and offers lifelong patient follow-up. The CoC accreditation is granted to facilities that provide the best in cancer care and demonstrate compliance with the CoC eligibility requirements and standards. First, the cancer program must meet the eligibility requirements, which we will discuss in a moment, and follow all the required standards. Once they have accomplished this, they submit an application for CoC accreditation. Then the program is given access to their survey application record, or SAR. The cancer program evaluates its performance and compliance with all CoC standards by completing the SAR and attaching appropriate documentation. This is a very detailed evaluation and review of the facility's own performance and compliance with the CoC standards. The surveyor or surveyors, depending on the category program you are, there might be 2 surveyors. And he or she or they review the SAR documentation prior to coming to your facility for the on-site survey visit. During the on-site visit, the surveyor reviews the SAR with the program members, discusses different aspects of the cancer program, and clarifies any issues that they may have had with the SAR. To maintain accreditation, cancer programs must undergo an on-site survey review every 3 years. The CoC recognizes that the cancer services available at different facilities vary depending on size and the scope of the facility's services. Therefore, each cancer program is designated as a specific category based on the type of facility they are, their program structure, services they provide, and the number of cases abstracted or accessioned each year. There is the Integrated Network Program, Cancer Program, INCP, and this is when the organization owns, operates, and leases or is part of a joint venture with multiple facilities providing integrated cancer care and offers comprehensive services. At least one of these facilities must be a hospital and must already be a CoC accredited. Generally, integrated network cancer programs have one cancer committee, standardized registry operations with a uniform data repository with coordinated service locations and practitioners. There's no minimum caseload requirement for this category. So it's just basically when more than one cancer program, facility, cancer center, there's more than one, and they work together as one overall operating committee to ensure that the patients receive the type of treatment that they need from their multiple facilities. The NCI Designated Comprehensive Cancer Center Program, or NCIP, these facilities secure an NCI, the National Cancer Institute, peer-reviewed cancer center support grant and is designated as a comprehensive cancer center by NCI. A full range of diagnostic and treatment services and staff physicians are available. This caseload also has no caseload requirement. As an example of this type of category, the UW Health System in Madison is an NCIP facility. They were granted with that NCI designation prior to becoming CoC accredited. Then we have the Academic Comprehensive Cancer Program. For this category, the facility participates in postgraduate medical education in at least 4 program areas. The facility accessions more than 500 newly diagnosed cancer cases each year. This type of facility offers the full range of diagnostic and treatment services either on-site or by referral. So obviously this type of, the academic comprehensive, that's like at a teaching hospital. They could be designated that category. Then the Veterans Affairs Cancer Program provides care to military veterans and offers the full range of diagnostic and treatment services either on-site or by referral. There is no minimal caseload required for this category. So your veteran hospitals this is the category in which they would become accredited. Then we have the Comprehensive Community Cancer Program, CCCP. And this type of program accessions 500 or more newly diagnosed cancer cases each year. The facility provides a full range of diagnostic and treatment services either on-site or by referral. What they mean by referral, there needs to be that referral process in place if they don't offer something at their hospital. Now, most programs accredited, I believe, are the CCCP category. And then we have the Community Cancer Program, the CCP. And this category accessions more than 100 cases, but less than 500 newly diagnosed cases annually, and also provide a full range of diagnostic and treatment services. But referral to another facility for a portion of the diagnosis and or treatment may occur. So this type of category facility would have, more than 100 cases accession each year, but less than 500. So there are many hospitals that would be designated as a CCP. Then we have a hospital-associated cancer program. And this category or designation accessions 100 or less newly diagnosed cancer cases annually and has a limited range of diagnostic and treatment services available on site. other services would be available by referral. Clinical research accrual is not required for this category. Then we have the pediatric cancer programs, the PCP. This designation provides care only to children, or the pediatric oncology program is a component within a larger CoC accredited facility. The facility or pediatric oncology program offers the full range of diagnostic and treatment services either on-site or by referral. This facility is required to participate in cancer-related clinical research focused on pediatric patients. This category does not have a minimum caseload requirement just because of it being pediatric. If you're designated as a pediatric program, you know, it doesn't matter how many there that you would accession. And then our last category is freestanding cancer center program. And with this designation, the facility is a non-hospital-based program and offers at least one cancer-related treatment modality. The full range of diagnostic and treatment services are available by referral. And the referral to a CoC accredited cancer program is referred. So that referral process needs to be where they're referring their patient to a CoC accredited facility. There's also no minimum caseload requirement for this category. So what I've seen most often, the freestanding cancer center programs are usually the radiation oncology clinics that are, or, you know, not necessarily clinics, but radiation treatment centers where that's all they offer is just radiation therapy, and that would be a freestanding cancer center program. Your medical oncology clinics could also be awarded the freestanding cancer center program designation. So those are the different CoC cancer program categories. So just kind of be aware of, you know, kind of the ones that have the caseload requirement and other just, you know, distinguishes, you know, specifics for those different categories. The Survey Application Record, or SAR, is an online reporting application that is available and used during the year of the facility's accreditation survey. This reporting application is used to demonstrate and document compliance of the CoC eligibility requirements and standards, as I stated earlier. To ensure a thorough and accurate evaluation of the cancer program during the survey, the facility updates and completes the SAR at least 30 days prior to the scheduled on-site visit. The SAR then is closed 14 days prior to the on-site visit. So 14 days prior to that visit, you can't make any changes to that SAR. This ensures that the program does not add any additional information to the SAR after the surveyor has reviewed, printed the information, and documents. After the on-site visit, the SAR is made available once again to the facility so that they can rectify any discrepancies or add any information to any of the standards that may be rated as deficient before the SAR, you know, is reviewed by the CoC staff. So if your surveyor says, hey, right now, you know, with the documentation I have, you would receive a deficiency or the standard. But if you can show me documentation that you did this, this, or this, and add that to the SAR, then you most likely would not be deficient in this standard. And that's why they reopen it up so that you can add things. The surveyor, they're not there, you know, to criticize your program. They're there to help you, to make sure that you know what is required, you know, in documentation, and make sure that, you know, you are proving yourself to the CoC. The Program Activity Record, or PAR, is what the online reporting application is called during the non-survey years. So basically, the SAR and the PAR are the same application, just used at different times. The CoC can and does review a program's PAR annually to ensure that the program continues to track and document their program activities. Completion of the SAR and PAR should be a team effort of members of the Cancer Committee. It's very important that you do continually add all the information, throughout that 3-year period, because if you wait till just before that survey or in the last year of that survey period, that's a lot of work, and it's more difficult to obviously do it that way. So it's easier if you just continue to load that information as time goes on throughout that 3-year survey cycle. The SAR and PAR can only be accessed through the CoC data links. Some of the required Cancer Committee members are given access to the CoC data links site. The program can also request access for other Cancer Committee members who may want to review the SAR, PAR, and other reports provided by the CoC or NCDB. When the CRM textbook was published, all program activity was documented in the SAR. There was no PAR at that time, and that's why the PAR is not mentioned in the CRM textbook. Once a user clicks and logs into the CoC data links, an activity menu appears with all the information available for that user. This is the registrar activity menu. I know it's small, and you don't have to know this information. I just wanted you to see and know what it looks like and what information and reports are provided that, you have to log into with password to access this information. So once the person goes into the CoC data links, this is what it looks like. All right. A CoC accredited cancer program documents their cancer program activities using multiple sources, which includes policies and procedures, reports, tables, and grids that are already provided within the SAR and the PAR that must be completed, as well as Cancer Committee minutes. Cancer Committee minutes are the primary source for documentation of the program activities. If it is not documented in the Cancer Committee minutes, it did not happen. So Cancer Committee minutes should be as detailed as possible to reflect the program's activities and demonstrate the compliance with each of the standards. So compared to other, committees, the Cancer Committee meetings are meeting minutes. I think I said that backwards, sorry. The minutes can be very lengthy. I mean, sometimes our minutes were 8 to 10 pages long. But it's important to be that detailed, because otherwise, they just don't think you're doing, what you need to do. So that documentation is very important. Consent agenda items are not permitted for Cancer Committee meetings. Consent agenda items are usually documents or reports that are read by all members prior to the meeting, then accepted with any discussion by the Cancer Committee or the committee that these are the consent agenda items are used at. The CoC frowns upon this because It is very, very important that all program activities are discussed as a group and decisions are made together as a multidisciplinary committee. So that discussion, that conversation that is, that there is during that time of discussing one of the items, it's very important to include, who said what, during the meeting within the minutes. In rare cases, when extenuating circumstances affect the program itself, a survey extension may be granted. The extension is usually for only 3 months, but a longer extension may be granted given the facility's circumstances. There are 2 valid extenuating circumstances that would warrant a survey extension. 1, national disasters such as a hurricane, earthquake, tornado, flood. And 2, other hazards such as fire or industrial accidents. Circumstances that would not warrant a survey extension would include software conversions or information technology issues, staff absences, turnarounds or turnovers in those positions, or resignations, delayed abstracting or missing data such as current follow-up, and standard deficiencies. I've known a couple facilities now where their CTR quit a couple weeks prior to the survey, and it doesn't matter. That survey is still going to happen. The facility just has to, go through this survey the best they can. Many, these 2 facilities did hire a contracted CTR to come on board, so that that person could help them through the survey process. But it is very, very, very difficult to get an extension on a survey nowadays. Each of the CoC standards are assigned a compliance rate by the facility, the self-assessment, and by the surveyor after the on-site visit. So rate 1+, that means accommodation, and that's assigned for eligible standards that have requirements that go above and beyond the standard criteria. Currently, the accommodation rating is valid for 7 of the standards. Then we have rate 1, which is compliance, and that is assigned to standards that the facility has met the requirements. Therefore, they are compliant with the standard. Rate 5 is non-compliance, which is assigned to the standards that the facility has not met the requirements. Rate 8 is not applicable, which is used for standards that are not applicable for some program categories. An example of this would be the clinical trial standard for the hospital associate cancer program category, since, as I stated earlier, this category does not have to track or accrue patients to clinical trials, so they would just get a rate 8 for that standard. The accreditation awards that are given by CoC include 3-year with accommodation accreditation, 3-year accreditation, 3-year accreditation with contingency, and non-accreditation. The accreditation awards are based on the consensus ratings by the cancer program surveyor, the CoC staff that reviews the SAR, and when necessary, the program review committee. So more than just the surveyor is reviewing the SAR. The highest accreditation award is the 3-year with accommodation accreditation. This indicates the program has complied with all standards and received the accommodation rating for one or more of the standards. The number of accommodation ratings that are awarded a program are used to determine if the facility receives the award level of bronze, silver, or gold. At this time, the accommodation rating is valid for 7 standards. So the gold level award means the facility received the accommodation rating for all 7 eligible standards. Silver level award is given when the facility received the accommodation rating for 4 to 6 of the eligible standards. Bronze level is given when the facility received the accommodation rating for 1 to 3 of the eligible standards. The 7 standards that can be awarded the accommodation rating are listed in the standards manual on page 7. For over 10 years now, the CoC has been awarding the Outstanding Achievement Award to recognize cancer programs that demonstrate excellence by earning accommodation for all applicable standards. So, if a program is awarded the gold 3-year accreditation with accommodation, they should also receive the Outstanding Achievement Award. The CoC publishes a list of the Outstanding Achievement Award, or the OAA, recipients twice a year. The purpose of this award is to recognize cancer programs that strive for excellence in providing quality care to cancer patients and to motivate other programs to work towards improving their care. For some programs, it's very, very difficult to get that Outstanding Achievement Award. For most programs, it's very difficult, so that award is very meaningful. A 3-year accreditation is awarded to programs that comply with all standards at the time of survey, but do not receive accommodation rating for any applicable standards. This award is also given to programs that received and resolved a deficiency for 1 or more standards, regardless of the number of accommodations received at the time of the survey. So if a program had received a deficiency with several accommodation ratings for the applicable standards, and they resolved their deficiencies, they are then awarded the 3-year accreditation and not the 3-year accreditation with accommodation, because they had to get rid of that deficiency prior to receiving that reaccreditation. A 3-year accreditation with contingency is given to established programs when they have 1 to 7 standards that are deficient, or to new programs that have 1 or 2 standards that are deficient at time of initial survey. The deficiencies must be resolved within 12 months from the survey results. Programs must follow the guidelines for deficiency resolution that are posted on the CoC Cancer Programs page. Programs have to submit the proper documentation to resolve the contingency status through the Sara. As stated previously, a 3-year accreditation status is granted after the CoC has evaluated the submitted resolution documents and agreed the deficiency was resolved. So you would get this 3-year with contingency until you get, till you resolve your deficiencies, and then you get that 3-year accreditation. A non-accreditation is given to an established accredited program when 8 or more standards are rated as deficient. This award is also given to any new programs that have 3 or more deficient standards. When this happens, the CoC staff work directly with the program to assist them with deficiency resolution to reinstate or get their initial accreditation. Programs can also choose to withdraw from their accreditation, improve their performance, and then reapply for accreditation. For a program to be considered for initial accreditation, the Cancer Committee is required to ensure that the clinical services, Cancer Committee, cancer conferences, and a quality management program have been in place at the facility for at least 1 year. Establish a reference date and ensure that the cancer registry database includes complete data and follow-up. You have to meet all eligibility requirements outlined in the CoC Standards Manual. You must meet the requirements for all applicable and required standards for new programs and their designated category as outlined in the CoC Standards Manual. Complete the online application for accreditation, which includes the program's main contact information. They have to submit the new program application fee. The CoC will not provide the facility's survey performance report if this fee is not paid, whether it's your initial accreditation survey or a re-accreditation survey. They will not give you that performance report until they've been paid. The program also has to sign the ACOS Business Associate and Data Use Agreement, which is in compliance with HIPAA. So that just needs to be signed once, and then they're good to go. You must complete the eligibility requirements and the SAR in preparation for the initial survey. And then they submit a request for survey to the CoC staff that documents compliance with all standards. So there are guidelines if a facility wishes to form an integrated network cancer program, or if the facilities have merged, is merging, or plans to merge with another facility. In these situations, the facility submits a notification of the change they wish to make. And then that program then has to undergo a survey, and this survey is considered an initial survey since the program is changing their program category. So even if someone has been a facility has been accredited for 50 years, but they merge with another hospital and they have to change their category, then they would have to send in an application, say we need to change our category. A survey would be set up for a CoC surveyor to come to that facility for that survey, and that would be considered an initial survey since they are changing that program designation. Participation in the on-site survey visit of all members of the Cancer Committee is encouraged. However, the specific people that must meet with the surveyor are the CEO or Chief Leadership Administrator, Cancer Liaison Physician, Cancer Committee Chair, Cancer Program Administrator, the designated Cancer Committee Coordinators, Cancer Registrar or registrars, depending if there's more than one on staff. On-site survey activities include the surveyor giving a presentation to the administrative leaders on the value of the CoC accreditation and how the program should market this information. The surveyor will review the SAR and point out any deficiencies that he or she found, or ask for more information to see if the program is in compliance with the standard, because documentation within the SAR does not demonstrate that compliance. But once again, the surveyor will say, hey, tell me more about this. Do you have more information? And so the surveyor does review that SAR very, very carefully and in very detailed sections. Attend a cancer conference or tumor board to observe the program's multidisciplinary management and the discussion of patient care. So you always have to set up the CoC survey for the surveyor to come to your facility on the day that you hold your tumor boards or cancer conference. Then the surveyor also reviews pathology reports to determine the compliance that the facility has in using the College of American Pathology protocols, the CAP protocols. The pathology department is required to use these, so the surveyor actually reviews pathology reports to make sure that the facility is compliant with that standard. The facility can give a presentation to the surveyor pertaining to their program, something that they think they shine in or excel at. If the program wishes to, a facility tour can be scheduled as well. This is a great way to show off your cancer program. And the surveyor gets to know you and the program better. Usually the CLP or the cancer committee chair will give the surveyor the facility tour. But it is a great way to kind of, just mingle and network with your surveyor or surveyors, and get to know them and kind of, you can kind of glean sometimes, what they're really looking for. Then finally, there is the summation. This is where the surveyor will tell the program members if they are non-compliant with any of the standards. The surveyor may also give suggestions for additional documentation to include or ways to clarify things in the standard, in the SAR, so everything is clear when the CoC staff review the SAR, because the surveyor will state whether they think the program is compliant or not with each standard and give feedback to the CoC staff, but it's the CoC staff that makes the final decision in that accreditation. So the CoC accreditation survey consists of the following basic, 4 basic steps. The program completes the SAR and the PAR on off years. The PAR should be completed each year, even if you are not being surveyed. This is more efficient and so much easier to complete the application as it happens and not have to document and upload 3 years of information in a couple of months just before the survey. It gets very, very stressful. Taking the time, to do it throughout that 3-year period is much less stressful and more efficient. Then the second step is the surveyor or surveyors will complete the online survey visit, all right? Or on-site survey visit, sorry. So they come to your facility, depending on the category you are, it's 1 to 2 day survey, on-site survey that the surveyor or surveyors will be there. The cancer program must complete a post-survey evaluation. This is how the facility gives feedback to the CoC, which enables them to evaluate and improve the survey process, surveyor performance, and to develop educational materials and training programs for surveyors and programs. The CoC usually holds 2 conferences, workshops per year for programs to attend. So, if that feedback, you can kind of say, oh, this is the way we understood something, whether it was in the SAR or the standards, and the surveyor, is saying that this is what they're interpreting it this way, that's very confusing, whatever. And then they take that feedback, and whether it was, additional training that they need to give to the surveyor, or if there's, a workshop or conference that the CoC will offer facilities to attend. That way, everyone has a better understanding of what is needed. And the CoC is located in Chicago, Illinois. Last but not least, the facility will receive notification of their survey results, also known as the performance report. This is sent via email within 45 days following the completed on-site survey visit. A program may appeal the findings for any standard or the accreditation awarded within 30 days of receiving the performance report. So the appeal must start within that 30-day period. Once you are a CoC accredited facility, you must submit your data to the NCDB, the National Cancer Database. NCDB is an oncology outcomes database. Data is submitted on an annual basis, but only by CoC accredited facilities. All right, so in return then, because you've sent that information to them, NCDB provides web-based tools for accreditation programs, and they include benchmark hospital comparison reports, survival reports, cancer program practice profile reports, or CP3R, rapid quality reporting system, the RQRS, cancer quality improvement programs, CQIP report, and completeness and default overuse reports. And these, once again, you would have to log into the CoC data links to get access to these web-based tools. NCDB data is used for 5 reasons. 1, measure treatment patterns and outcomes. 2, evaluate hospital provider performance. 3, conduct research and develop focused studies. 4, assess and validate nationally accepted quality measures. And 5, develop effective resources and tools to improve outcomes at the national, regional, and local levels. So those are the 5 reasons that the NCDB data is used. I know this week's reading only included the first portion of the CoC standards, but I thought I would go over some additional information included in the standards manual that pertains to the Cancer Committee. You can always read this manual during your summer break. I know you will all miss having schoolwork, so here's an opportunity for you to get ahead of the game. No, just kidding. But if you feel like reading it, go ahead and read it. I shouldn't say majority, many of the questions on the CTR exam do pertain to the CoC standards. So never too early to start preparing for that. The Cancer Committee of a CoC accredited program is responsible for goal setting, planning, initiating, implementing, evaluating, and improving all cancer-related programs at all cancer-related activities of their program. The Cancer Committee membership must include the specific physicians and specific non-physician members. The required physician members include a diagnostic radiologist, pathologist, surgeon, medical oncologist, radiation oncologist, and the cancer liaison physician, or CLP. And this member can be one of the members listed above, or it can be any other physician that deals with cancer patients. So if one of the above, like if you had a medical oncologist on the cancer committee that also wanted to be the CLP, then he could fill both of those required members. Required non-physician members include the cancer program administrator. This is usually the cancer center director. An oncology nurse, a social worker or case manager, certified tumor registrar, palliative care professional if palliative care is provided on site at your facility, and genetic professional if genetic counseling and testing are provided on site at your facility. If you do not offer palliative care or genetic testing at your facility, then you don't have to have anyone on your cancer committee in those positions. The cancer committee membership and a designated alternate must be identified during the first meeting of each year. One of the required members of the cancer committee, as I just stated a moment ago, is the cancer liaison physician. The CLP is a volunteer physician who is responsible for providing leadership and direction to establish, maintain, and support the facility's cancer program. The responsibilities of the CLP include interpreting and monitoring the facility's NCDB data and plan to use the information to evaluate and improve quality of care. Reporting the NCDB data to the cancer committee on a quarterly basis. So using those tools that we just talked about, he would run reports and look at the different reports that are offered within those tools and then discuss it quarterly at the cancer committee. Reporting on CoC activities to the cancer committee. You know, if there are new things happening, changes, then the CLP would report that to the cancer committee. One example would be when the AJCC 8th edition was coming out. You know, here, this is coming, when they plan on implementing, and then it actually got delayed. So then the CLP said, hey, it's been delayed. So that way your cancer committee just stays, you know, up to date with everything that's going on. And then they also serve as liaison for the cancer program with the American Cancer Society. The CLP serves a 3-year term with eligibility to serve an unlimited number of terms. So if you get a physician that's great as your CLP, you don't want them to leave. But they do, it is a 3-year term. Now, if the physician would leave your program for whatever reason, you know, you would just, you know, bring on a new CLP and then give that information to CoC. You know, it's no big deal. You know, people are always leaving. So, but it is, you just have to renew his application or his term every 3 years, or designate someone else to the CoC. The Cancer Committee is required to have 6 coordinators, and these coordinators are appointed for 1 calendar year term. So every year at the first quarter meeting, the coordinators must be appointed by the Cancer Committee. An individual cannot serve as more than one of the coordinators during the same term. However, these coordinators may be one of the members that are already required to attend the meeting. and a cancer registrar cannot be selected for several of these coordinator roles. And this is to ensure that more people are involved in the meetings. Otherwise, the cancer registrar would be designated for all of these. And the point is to get other people involved. So we have the Cancer Conference Coordinator, and they're responsible for monitoring the Cancer Conference activity. This person reports the findings to the Cancer Committee at least annually and recommends corrective action of any activity that falls below the annual goal or requirement of your Cancer Conference or tumor board. The Quality Improvement Coordinator is responsible for monitoring the quality improvement program activity and reports the findings to the Cancer Committee at least annually. This person must also recommend corrective action if the activity falls below the annual goal or requirement. The Cancer Registry Quality Coordinator is responsible for monitoring the quality of the Cancer Registry data and report findings to the Cancer Committee with recommendations of corrective action if activity falls below the annual goal or requirement. Then we have the Community Outreach Coordinator, and they're responsible for monitoring the prevention and screening activities, report at least annually to the Cancer Committee, and also recommend corrective actions if activities fall below the annual goal or requirements. The Clinical Research Coordinator is responsible for tracking patients enrolled in clinical trials from within the program and or patients that are referred for enrollment in clinical trials at other facilities. So even if you have a patient that is enrolled at a clinical trial at a different facility, you can still count that enrollment in your clinical trial enrollment percentage. So it's very important that this clinical research coordinator keeps very close track of the number of patients that are enrolled in clinical research trials, whether it's at your facility or elsewhere. The Psychosocial Services Coordinator works collaboratively with the departments and community organizations to provide, improve, and expand the range of psychosocial services. So those are the 6 required Cancer Committee coordinators. For each of the required members, the Cancer Committee appoints one person and one designated alternate person to attend the Cancer Committee meetings. Since the Cancer Committee is responsible for leading the cancer program, it only makes sense that the appointed members regularly attend and participate in the Cancer Committee meetings. Each required member or their designated alternate must attend at least 75% of the meetings. So if your program meets as is required by the CoC, then the required members or their alternate would have to attend 3 of the 4 meetings each year. Standards state that the Cancer Committee must meet at least once each quarter. So that's 4 times a year, and required member or their designated alternate must attend 75%. So 3 of the 4 meetings. Participation and attendance of the Cancer Committee meeting can be accomplished by face-to-face or teleconferencing, video conferencing the meetings. So the person doesn't actually have to be in the same room as, they just need to attend by teleconference or video conference. That kind of helps when the physician, also works off-site. The Cancer Committee is required to meet at a minimum of 4 times per year. One meeting must take place during each calendar quarter. One meeting must take place during each time frame listed here. Most programs schedule their meetings in the first or second month of each quarter. Just in case the meeting is canceled for any reason, it can still be rescheduled within that same quarter, because that's what the CoC will check. If you do two in the same quarter, then you'll be deficient with this standard. The cancer program may establish subcommittees or work groups to manage specific activities, but the activities and reports must be presented and approved by the cancer committee. This information also needs to be included in the cancer committee minutes and not just provided as an attachment to the minutes. So this is how, you can have those subcommittees working on different things. However, there still needs to be that discussion and those decisions made as a group in order for it to count. So that's why you need to make sure that that information is included in your minutes. If you have any questions, please post them in the virtual office. I know this is more lengthy than my normal presentations, but it's all very important information, and you will be working more with the standards manual next semester. So please save the CoC standards manual to your desktop for easy access for future assignments that you will have next semester. Even in the cancer statistics class, you will use this manual. Okay, so make sure save it somewhere where it's easily. I like saving stuff on my desktop. My desktop is kind of messy with a lot of saved documents, but it's just an easy way to access it. So hope you enjoyed learning a little about the CoC and their accreditation process, as well as the Cancer Committee. Have a great week, everyone.